Did you know that nearly 92% of consumers trust personal brands over traditional advertising? In today's digital landscape, building a strong personal brand can be a game changer for entrepreneurs and professionals. Joining us today is Urmi Hossain, a vibrant force in the world of finance and a passionate advocate for women's education. In 2020, Urmi founded a blog specifically aimed at empowering women and girls by offering financial education that's often less accessible to them, challenging the status quo and providing essential tools for their financial independence. In addition to managing her successful blog, Urmi is an avid boxer, a voracious reader, a podcast enthusiast, a polyglot, and a dedicated volunteer for organizations targeting women's issues. She's also in the process of writing her second book, and today she's here to share her insights on her self-brand journey and its unique challenges. Welcome, Urmi.
Hi.
So glad to have you here and to learn all about you. I know you're not specifically an entrepreneur. However, you do a lot of entrepreneurial things. So I'm curious about that. So share a story about, or like a light bulb moment or aha moment that kind of launched your brand into the spotlight, that just like changed the course of history for you.
Yes, it actually was in 2020. It was during the pandemic era where I was like, there's something that I want to do. Like I wanted to do something, and it was more dedicated to helping women and girls. And that's because it came from my own personal story I felt when I was growing up. And I felt I had a lot that I could share to people. There was a lot of information that I could give, but I was not sure where to start. And because I also had an end goal of writing a book eventually, I was like, you know what, let me start with an easy way. And that was with blogging. So I started with my first blog in 2020, and it was a lot of work, I have to say. It was a lot of trial and error because it was my first time building my own blog, and I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to figure out how to build a website and how to keep up with the blog. Like, how often do I post? What do I talk about? And initially I was I was a little bit insecure, and I was not also okay sharing a little bit about my story. And after talking with some people, they were like, but if you are trying to get people to like you, you have to tell them who you are. You have to tell them your story. You have to show your picture. Indeed, initially, I was always like hiding myself. It was my blog, but I would never put my name. I would never say who I was. I would never put my picture. And after that, I had to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. So it took me a little bit to basically be okay and telling a little bit about myself. So then after a couple of months, I put my story and I told the world who I was. And then from there, basically my whole journey started with blogging, YouTubing, creating my first book, creating ebook, being associated with other organization. But it was really hard at first because I had no clue of anything. So that's how it started.
So you had to learn the entire path, which is very entrepreneurial. We oftentimes get thrown. I was telling you before we started recording that I'm an unplanned entrepreneur. And when you jump into something, you have to live by fire, right? So like, I got to figure this next step out.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in the process of doing something that's more business minded, you were on a very vulnerable personal journey as well. And so tell me a little bit about why you felt uncomfortable revealing your name and your face and like who you were. What about that was hard for you? Why not share that?
It was pretty much the concern from the people around me, what they would have thought if they saw the things that I was doing. I was pretty much worried about being judged. And I think that's a very common fear by a lot of people. But I had to let go of that. Like I really had to let go of that, but it was really hard. And I'm glad that I did let go of this, because one of the things that I actually learned this week is I was doing a Udemy course and they were sharing what are the 20 hacks to be a successful person. And they were saying that if you want to be a successful person in life, you have to make sure that you don't care too much about people's opinion. And I'm glad that I was doing that. And now I got the confirmation that, yeah, if you want to be successful, you have to make sure that you're not following people's opinion. So that was one thing that was really hard for me. Like it was a hurdle for me. And it was especially like a bigger hurdle when I was invited on a YouTube channel to do an interview. And I remember talking to my friend, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this because, oh my gosh, everyone will see my face. But I'm so happy I did that because I got a little bit of spark and I realized, oh my gosh, I love doing this. So then I created my own YouTube channel and I get invited to different other podcasts where they use the videos. So I'm comfortable with that. And now if people Google me, they can see everything that is associated with my name, every kind of work that I've been doing. And I'm happy of that. I should be proud of the work that I'm doing and how I'm impacting people. But it was a big hurdle at the beginning.
Got to get over ourselves, right? All those insecurities. I would tell my clients all the time to do video and to get on Facebook Live and all of that. But did I do lives? No. So it was a big hurdle for me to even take my own advice as well. So, been there, done that. And over the last 6 months, I've really embraced it and learned it and felt more comfortable. But like you said, it takes practice. And you have to keep working at it. And it's easy to be nervous and all those things. So yes, but video is the not future. Everybody's doing it. People connect more strongly to you as a person and as a human. And they see your authenticity. I think on video more than any other medium. It's very revealing, I think, in that respect. So describe the most unexpected plot twist that you have faced in business and how it changed the course of your journey.
It wasn't like a particular moment, but it's something that a lot of people keep telling me after seeing the work that I've been doing, because I've been sharing so much of my work, like all the website, every single place where I mentioned. And I had people coming to me and being like, oh my gosh, you should be an entrepreneur. But I never thought of this because I was like, me, an entrepreneur? But then I gave it a little bit of thought and I think they were right. I do have a very entrepreneurial mindset. So that has really changed the way I think about things. Like, yes, I do have a 9-to-5 job, but I also have my 5-to-9, and my 5-to-9 is really being an entrepreneur. It never crossed my mind, but then someone pointed it out and I had 2 people pointing it out to me. I think it's really true. And I do act like an entrepreneur. I do listen to a lot of things about entrepreneurship, but I was like, it wasn't something that I was doing intentionally. I was just doing it unconsciously. I also followed a bunch of courses about entrepreneurship, but I don't even know why I was doing it. I was just very much interested. And now I know a little bit how it works with this whole like building business and stuff like that if I ever want to do it. But yeah, that's one of the things that I would say like it changed a little bit my path.
When you look back on your journey, what aspect of your business mind, the strategy you use, how you produce content even, has evolved the most over time and why?
I would definitely say the marketing aspect of it. Like I did not realize how much marketing I was doing of myself. Like I have a personal brand, but I don't think I ever realized it. But when I think about it, like I've been promoting myself throughout all these years by going to different podcast shows, by like being featured in different newspaper, by writing newsletter for organizations. Also, the fact that I'm associated or connected with other organizations related to women's empowerment. I can see how much work I've been doing because now when I have people connected with me on LinkedIn, they do connect for something very specific. I realize that I've been doing a lot of promotion of myself throughout these years, and I've been building my own personal brand, and I never really realized it. And I think has been probably my strength right now. I am my own brand and I've been promoting it by going to these different platforms.
So why women's empowerment?
It comes from my own personal story because I grew up in a South Asian household and there are a lot of double standards. You grew up with these limiting beliefs that all women cannot do certain things, women are not allowed to do those things. And I was always wondering why. And because of that, you know what? Let's change this, okay? I don't know who has written these rules, but none of it is true. Let me be an advocate of women's empowerment. Let me break these stereotypes. And so I've been doing this for quite a bit of time. Like I am part of an organization called Women in Leadership, and where we promote the concept of having more women in leadership position, having more women being advocate of themselves.
Tell me about a memorable moment or a heart-warming interaction related to the women's empowerment that just helps fuel your passion for this.
It was through my mentoring activity. I had like a mentee. I've been her mentee for 6 months, but we still stay in touch nowadays. And she told me that everywhere she goes, she talks about me. So I feel like I made such a big impact in her life that I did not realize. And now she goes to events where they tell her, oh yeah, next time just bring your mentor. And I'm happy that she thinks of me. It really means that I made a difference in her life. Like she still comes to me for advice. She still comes to me for guidance. And I thought, because it's okay. It means that I am good at what I'm doing and I made a difference. So that has been one of the things that I feel very proud of, because I have someone who really like takes my expertise seriously.
So the mentee, what do they do?
The student, she's a student in finance who want to work in finance. And so she comes to me for advice on like how to look for a job or how to land an interview. But she also comes to me for like personal things too, for her own personal matters.
Before we dive back into the inspiring world of Spark and Ignite marketing, let's take a moment to thank the incredible supporters who make this podcast possible. Today's episode is brought to you by BC & Associates Marketing, your go-to partner to help you spark and ignite your marketing. At BC & Associates Marketing, we believe in sparking ideas that lead to unique opportunities, whether you're a small business owner looking to ignite your brand or an entrepreneur seeking marketing mastery. Our team is dedicated to crafting tailored solutions that fuel your growth. From strategic planning to ongoing support, BC & Associates Marketing brings over 25 years of expertise to the table. We're not just marketers, we're your partners in success, committed to sparking innovation and helping your business thrive in the ever-evolving landscape. So if you're ready to take your marketing to the next level, visit bcassociatesmarketing.com. Let's spark extraordinary opportunities together. A big thank you to BC & Associates Marketing for supporting the Spark and Ignite Marketing podcast. Now, let's get back to the show and continue sparking those ideas.
Sorry, what is just mentoring people here? Is it here or you're in Canada? I know
Yeah.
you have a Bangladesh and Italian background.
Yeah.
Where are they from? Are they in Canada? Or are they in Bangladesh?
No.
Who are you mentoring?
Yeah, they're in Canada. They're in Canada. They're in Canada. I did mentor a few people outside of Canada, but they were based in Europe.
Are they women who are of minority status, or are they generally women?
Yes, women part of the minority groups, basically.
How amazing. I think that like women in ourselves help raise each other up, but I think minority groups also are very good about taking people in their minority group and helping to raise them up as well, because your unique challenges, right?
Yeah.
Unique perspective, your unique cultural norms that you have experienced and things you had to fight against to get where you are.
Yeah.
I think you understand that in the language, obviously. It's much more empowering and more efficient, I think, when you're mentoring somebody who you can really understand all aspects of their experience. That's amazing. Interesting, because when I first started off in marketing, I worked for Chrysler and I worked for a bunch of men who were my dad's age, white men that were my dad's age. And I remember coming home and telling my dad, I love my job. I was so excited with marketing. It's Chrysler. It's a big company. It's sexy. I was like, this is amazing. And then I was like, Dad, I have all these ideas, but they're all you. Like, how do I tell my dad these ideas? Like, it was really challenging to find my voice in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know. I had somebody who I did work with who did help me a little bit, but there wasn't somebody there to help me find my voice. And so I had to just struggle, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I know I made people angry in the process or like frustrated, but we are a generation who are breaking down barriers, doing things other women haven't done before. And I think that's hard. It's hard work. And having other people to support you makes it so much easier. People in your corner is amazing. So I love that. So share a fun fact about what you do, and that even maybe your most dedicated followers on LinkedIn or on YouTube or whatever wouldn't necessarily know. We're talking about quirky behind the scene details about what makes Urmi and your brand super unique. What is something that people might not know about you?
Oh my gosh. When you say fun fact, I always think about one thing, but this fun fact is actually mentioned on my blog. I feel like everyone knows about it. Like I love eating pasta. I don't know if that's like a fun fact, but for me it is. I can eat pasta all day long.
Kinds of pasta or specific particular kind of pasta?
Honestly, any kinds of pasta is just so good. My dad is also big on pasta. So he's the one who introduced me to pasta first time. And I'm telling you, it's just so good. I can have pasta for breakfast, lunch, dinner all day long. And I'm like never tired. It's like when I'm feeling sad and I need something to uplift my mood, I go and make myself a plate of pasta and life is great afterwards.
Pasta is good. And true Italian pasta. There's nothing that beats homemade Italian pasta.
Exactly. It's just so good. Like,
share a glimpse into the future. What is your long-term vision for all of these things that you're doing? Where do you see? You say you're an unplanned entrepreneur or an underlying secret kind of entrepreneur. What is the vision that you have in the next 5-10 years for all these things that you're doing?
I love creating content, whether it's on my YouTube blog or even on my social media. That's one thing that I love the most. So I see myself still doing this. I do want to, I want to grow my YouTube channel. I want to continue having a blog. I want to grow my followers. There are two things that I want to do. One is self-publish my second book. And the second thing that I want to do is I want to deliver a TED Talk. And I've been working on it for the past 5 years. It is my long-term plan. I say it in every single place that I go so I can manifest it and it's going to happen. Those are my two biggest dreams for the time being. And of course, having my brand, like my own personal brand, like to grow and I feel like I've done a lot already. I do have a lot of connections and people connecting with me to know more about the things that I do. I want to keep continuing doing that.
So who are the people that would be best to connect with for you? Who's the best person to network with for you?
A lot of people that connect with me are actually in the financial sector. And I have a lot of also women connect with me in the financial sector. So that has been nice because like you mentioned a little bit at the beginning, I work in the financial sector and it is very male dominated. So if you want to make yourself heard, you have to work for it. I am working to break those ceilings even in the corporate world. And I want to educate more women to do the same thing for the industry they work for, also in their own household, because it's important. That's the only way you can bring change is only if you take actions toward change. And I love the quotation from Gandhi that says, be the change you want to see in the world. Mm-hmm. I live by that quotation. So that's one thing that I try to also spread among the people that I connect with.
If you could change things to be better, what are the things that you would want to change?
Definitely to have a more equal society. But I think one thing that I probably would like to see end is child marriage. Because like in Bangladesh, one thing that is still very much prevalent is child marriage. And I am part of an organization that is working towards fighting child marriage. But unfortunately, it's a persistent, it's a problem that is still there. A lot of girls actually underage are given for marriage because they're seen as a financial burden by families. They're not seen as just valuable for the families because we're not seen as breadwinners really in that type of environment. So I would like to change that, honestly. And being part of some of the organization that works toward it just helps me to be educated and also to share a little bit my own ideas about it.
What are some of the things that you do to help that cause?
One of the things I did is I wrote an article for an organization. It's called Speak Up. And the organization is American, but they have an office in Bangladesh. And I wrote it in English. And then I asked the people that work with it to translate it and to use the information that I have shared, educate the girls there. So I talk about how you should be an advocate for yourself, how you should learn about self-defense, also on calls so I can actually speak to the girls out there. But it's really hard, honestly. It's really hard especially when families are so afraid that the girls will be brainwashed. It's really hard.
So you're breaking a whole construct.
Yeah.
But what all the research shows for me is that when a girl is educated, she always takes care of her family, takes care of her village. It empowered the village and the family on a whole different level. So it's one of the best things that a society can do. Is it something that you personally have experienced in your culture?
No, but I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah. And so you want to change it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We need lots of people like you in the world. So is there a business model that you could create to help in this space, like an actual entrepreneurial business?
You know what? It's always there in my mind. I'm always thinking about something where I can make that kind of impact. And I do try to learn from other entrepreneurs. I do speak with a lot of entrepreneurs and ask them, like, did you start your own thing? Because there is this woman that I know who's based in the States, and she has an organization that it's helping female in the STEM industry. And she told me a little bit how she started, how the government was funding a little bit her business, how she needed a group of volunteers. And she told me it's a full-time job. Like, even though some of the things that she does, like her business, it's her business, but some of the things she's not getting paid, for instance. So she told me, like, you really have to be committed to it. Like, it's a full-time job and you have a purpose, which is you're helping someone. I do speak with a lot of people to get ideas on how they do things. It's a work in progress in my mind. And that's why for now, like, I am part of different organizations, so that in this I'm helping indirectly, even though like I don't have my own thing. Yeah.
The one thing that when we talk to our customers that come on board is you have to understand your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because that drives everything, right? That gets you through when you're not getting a paycheck. That gets you through when you're struggling to get something or the next client or the next whatever it is for an entrepreneur. The why is the burning passion that is the fire in your belly that doesn't go away. That literally is gnawing at your soul until you do something about it. So it may be like in a slow burn now, but eventually it's going to consume you, Urmi, and you won't be able to not do it. If that's what you're born to do, I feel like it's going to just get stronger and tell you like you have to do something. As a brand, how have you used marketing to help your brand?
One thing that I've been doing a lot is a lot of collaboration on different platforms that I use, because I have, of course, my own Instagram personal account, but I also have the one from Women in Leadership that I also handle. And I do a lot of collaboration. Like, I invite people to talk about their stuff, and I tell them to invite me on their platform to talk about my own things. That has been working a lot. I do, of course, YouTube collaboration as well. I also write for different organizations. So the fact that I am like associated with A, B, C, D, like it helps because I'm able to expand on a bigger scale. And also, like, I've done webinars and workshops for other organizations that reached out to me. So those things has really helped me to basically navigate this whole like marketing world and make sure that I'm like, everyone knows who I am. So if there is something, people reach out to me, they're like, oh, do you want to come and do this with me? So that has been helping a lot. Also, a lot of the podcasting stuff has really helping a lot too, because I'm able to talk about issues and things I want to bring awareness. So those are some of the things I've been doing. So podcasting, YouTube collaboration, Instagram Live collaboration. Yeah.
So what has been the biggest marketing mistake you've made?
You know what? So there are two of them. There are actually two of them because I have self-published my first book. And I did not realize that when it comes to self-publishing your book, or whether it's also publishing your book, you have to do heavy promotion.
Oh, yes. And I'll tell you, I have a friend who's an author who they have a publisher, but they do nothing for them. So it's a hard road as an author to have published a book and to have to get it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my biggest mistake, because I self-published it, but I wasn't doing any like promotion of it. And then my friend was like, no, when you self-publish a book, or whether you publish a book, you have to do heavy promotion. And then what happened is I followed a bunch of like authors and stuff like that. And then it made sense on why they were doing so much promotion of their book. So then I connected the dots. And also, like, when people purchase your book, one of the things that is highly recommended is that you ask them to write reviews, because then it helps with the algorithm. And I didn't know this. Yeah, I did not know this. So now I know it. So now I learned from it. And the other thing was with my own YouTube channel, it all started for fun and for passion. But then eventually I was like, you know what? I want to be able to monetize it. And one thing that one of my friends told me was like, you have to have an editing platform to edit your videos to make them look more appealing, more professional. And for I think 2-3 years, I'd never edited any of my videos. I would just have a nice thumbnail, description, and social media links, and upload the videos. But it was only recently that I was like, okay, you know what? I think it's time that I get this editing platform and I start editing my videos. And the reason why I didn't want to do this is because editing takes a lot of time. But I tried to see this from a different perspective. I saw it more like it's me learning a new skill when it comes to editing. So I took it from that perspective. Then, of course, I bought an editing platform, an editing tool, and now I've been editing my videos and I can see how it's been actually helping. I can see I have a lot more subscribers, and I can see also myself being like, if I'm on the other side, I'll be more interested to watch it. So, yeah.
So in the book that I wrote, the last thing in my book is, if you found this useful, please leave a review. It's actually in the printed part of the book. In the end of the book, it's like the last thing that I put in there. If you hear some more resources, and by the way, if you found value in this, please leave a review, because without it, like the algorithm, you need reviews, because people, you need them. You do. It's social proof that you have something to say and people find value, and people love the reviews on Amazon. Share a moment of pride when you've made a meaningful impact in the life of your community. What was the outcome, and how did it shape your perspective on what success means to you?
So for me, success means to do the things that you love and to do the things that bring you fulfillment. One of the things that I'm very much proud of is the connection that I have made. And I do have people, it shows that my work is being paid off somehow. Because it's really hard at the beginning, because when you're trying to build something and that no one is commenting anything, no one is reaching out to you, you really do feel demotivated, because you're like, okay, do I just give up? But then you start to see that your work is coming to fruition and people actually reaching out. And so the fact that I have people telling me that my content has been helpful, it really means a lot to me. It means that I'm putting valuable information out there.
And that's really great, because so many people are consumers of information and content, and most of them are voyeurs. They don't interact. So they're just consuming your content and I do believe that content, in the hopes of good content, is an interaction, like an actual game. And so if you're a voyeur and you're a listener, please comment, something of the content that you're consuming and you enjoy, because it does matter to those of us that are creating content on a whole different level. And yes, consistently putting it out there, and even the evolution of video for you and editing tool, how that has transformed for you. Is there another technology or trend that you are looking to maybe incorporate soon that's going to help your marketing or your business, this passion of yours?
I thought about podcasting, having my own podcast, because I spoke with someone and they were like, you can, when you record videos on Zoom, they also give you an audio. My friend was like, yeah, if you, you can use the same content. It's a tool for one type of thing where you put it in one platform and you put the same one in a podcast platform. I'm honestly thinking more from the perspective of, okay, how much editing do I have to do with podcasting? Because I think it takes a bit more effort when it comes to podcasting, because you want to make sure the audio is perfect. So that's another thing that I've been thinking. And definitely I would like to invest a little bit more on audio and microphone, because I also watched a video where they were saying that the audio of a video makes a huge difference. Yeah. And so that's another thing that I'm also thinking of. Yeah.
And I think repurposing content is one of the most powerful tools that people have. Creating content takes a lot of work, planning it, all the things, and then sharing it. And the more you can repurpose that content. So I talk a lot about writing a blog is the first great step.
Yeah.
And you can now take that blog and you can rewrite it as a video script.
Yeah.
And use that. And then you can take that and you can rewrite it as 10 social media posts, possibly. You can take that and you can now maybe even create I obviously start on your blog at the 101 level.
Yeah.
And then in that blog, there's going to be 3 or 4 sub things that are going to happen. You print a blog about each of those. but you could also take it to a 201 level or a 301 level and create some advanced content if you wanted to. But repurposing content is huge. And it's the only way you can, I think, be successful with the amount of content that's required now on all the different channels and all the different places and be able to contribute and stay safe. So
Yeah.
And you have to think about it from the very first moment you create the content. The lifespan of this content is going to be this. It's going to be this first, then this. And you think about it evolving through the content types as you create it, because then you know I can get all of this out of this. And I think AI is a perfect tool for me. I write a lot of my blog and then I throw them through AI. I'll say, rewrite this blog that I have written as a video script. And now it does that. Or rewrite this or take this and what are the 10 best hooks I can use for this? But it's my content. But what's great about AI is it quickly helps to recreate content in different ways for you. Once you create that really key foundational piece of content that's yours, and it makes the job so much easier. So AI is your friend in this place as well. So one of the things that I did was I wrote the book, and I have actionable steps in my book, and I actually wrote a blog post about every action step. And then I created a video for every action step from my blog. And then, so this year is all about my book. All the content in my book, repurpose.
Okay.
Breaking it down into little different pieces. How can I repurpose? Because it's a lot of my, about you, a lot of time writing the book. And I want to get every ounce of everything out of that book, right? So my chapter headers are like my 10 cornerstone pieces. And then from there, I wrote, I think I have 6 or 7 action steps in every single chapter, and every single action step is now a blog post. Every single action step is now a video. That has been my goal this year. So I don't know if that works for yours, but even taking content that's long form and how to make it short form and break it down even further, I think is key. So I love the content machine, but you got to really think it out and be keep about it. So it's huge. I have a fast round and then it wraps up. So what we do now is we do this rapid fire question. And we uncover your favorite things, like your favorite business insights, your favorite tools, your inspiration. So are you ready for that? It's just really short. It's quick. It's not a lot of discussion back and forth unless I when I'm asking questions about it. Are you ready for that?
I hope so.
So how have you created and maintained lasting connections on your entrepreneurial journey? About connections are huge, and even creating. So you talked about collaboration. So how have you created and maintained lasting connections for your collaboration on this kind of journey that you're on with things that matter to you?
If you want me to be short and quick, it's by supporting each other. So even when after the collaboration ends, I still go and like their stuff. So it shows them that I am there for them. And I also do a lot of follow-ups. It's not just only for collaboration, or even for my connections in general. I do a lot of follow-ups because I think after the initial connection, often things just split and you just forget about this person. But I do like to maintain that long-term relationship by showing support, by liking and subscribing to their stuff, but also by following up with them through an email, for instance.
What word or emotion would resonate from its core if your brand had a voice?
I like the word evolution. My message is that whoever interacts with me, they go through a transformation and they become much more confident. They believe in themselves. So they go through a whole evolution, basically.
Okay, so dive into that library of wisdom you've gotten from all the podcasts and all the webinars and all the things. Which book, podcast, or entrepreneur has left an indelible mark, on your soul on this journey?
Okay, I do have one for each, actually. So I do have one book. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. For the podcast, there is this one called the Boss Babe Podcast. It's run by women and it's for women, and it's a community of female entrepreneurs, female future entrepreneurs. So I listened to their podcast. And then there was the third thing, which was an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur or business owner, yeah.
Okay, so she's an actress. Her name is Shay Mitchell. I don't know if you ever watched Pretty Little Liars. Anyway, she's a Canadian actress. She's famous. She has a very entrepreneurial mindset. And I watched an interview of her. And I like how she sees the gap in the market and she creates products. I really like the work. She sees the problem and she has the solution. So I very much like the way she thinks about it. And she's quick.
What's one unconventional tool or app that's become your secret weapon for success? And how has it revolutionized your workflow?
I use Google Calendar. This is my best friend. And I haven't found the app that is going to change my life, but I've been looking into Asana. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I know it's like a task organization application. But right now I'm like depending on Google Calendar a lot. Like this, like I need that to survive.
How do you keep your entrepreneurial spirit alive? How do you feed the fire that Urmi has for these things?
I always go back to my why. We spoke about it, and I always remember why I started the things that I started.
How do you stay grounded and maintain this sense of purpose and clarity when there's so much chaos in the world and noise and uncertainty? How do you stay grounded in that?
I am a very much determined person, and I don't like to give up on the things I start, and because I feel like I'm betraying myself if I give up on those things. So it is connected to the previous question. Like I go back to my why, to my ikigai, which is the reason for being. So that's how I stay grounded. Yeah.
If this passion, your brand, you can even say, proud the animal kingdom, which creature would it embody and why?
A lion.
Yeah. Why a lion?
Lions are strong and courageous. So like I feel like that's also what I try to be, like courageous and a strong woman. So I want that to be, if it comes alive, I want it to be like an animal. Like if it has to be an animal, it would be a lion.
If you had to look back on the journey you've had so far, with all the pivotal pieces of advice and everything you've gotten over the years, what one insight do you think would have saved you the most time and headache had you known back when you started?
How related to organizational skill? Because, for instance, I used to use an agenda, like a manual agenda to write about things. But if I knew like a better tool to organize my things, I think it would have saved me a lot of time. I think you need that, especially when you're juggling around 15 million things.
So before we go, tell our listeners where they can learn more about your passion, keep up with your latest project, where they can find you and learn more about you.
So I have a blog that's called myways.ca. I have a YouTube channel called Urmi Hossain. I have my LinkedIn profile called Urmi Hossain. I have my Instagram account called Urmi Mio. And if anyone wants to purchase my book, it's available on Amazon. It's called Discovering Your Identity, A Rebirth from Inspiration Struggle.
Thank you so much, Urmi, for being on and sharing your passion and your knowledge and expertise in women's empowerment. I think we need much more of that personally as a woman. So your effects have illuminated our listeners' path, offering invaluable tips and strategies to enhance their own brand and their own journey on the path of business, brands, whatever you're like, even if it's a passion project, right? And to our listeners, I hope you have found this episode as enlightening as I did. And remember to implement these insights shared today into your purpose, brand, or business. And don't hesitate to reach out to Urmi or me if you have any questions or need assistance. So stay tuned for more inspiring conversations and actionable tips. Until next time, keep sparking and
wrapping up another episode of Spark and Ignite Marketing. For your weekly dose of inspiration, join our community on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok for behind the scenes and exclusive content. Until next time, keep the spark alive and stay inspired.